This Thursday Night Football Props edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rebet, a new sportsbook available in 45 states. Download Rebet in your app store and use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And we're brought to you by the SGPN College Football Playoff Challenge. Free to enter and $1,000 grand prize. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP to enter today.
Hey, this is Bill Romanowski. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Oh wow, week 16, Sean. It
it
feels like we're near the end. We are so close.
I know you have football fatigue, not me. Go Birds, baby!
What do you
Fired
mean?
up. Oh, you just keep talking about the end. It sounded like someone who was tired.
Oh, what are you, one of these blockhead? You can't talk about something without being affiliated with it. I've brought up the idea of football fatigue, not because I'm fatigued, but because plenty of other people are fatigued.
I'm not. I'm fired up. Fun week of games. We got the Thursday night. We got Saturday action. Then right around. I mean, week 17 is going to be bonkers with a Christmas Day game, 2 games, and then more Saturday action and a Thursday game and college football playoffs. Perfect reminder. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP. Get in there. We're hosting a college football playoff challenge. Very easy. Pick sides and totals for all the games. Winner take all, $1,000, and of course free to enter as always.
Winner take all, $1,000. Pretty nice prize.
Yes.
Will there be a tie? Like college football, have we made sure that we won't have a tie scenario?
The tiebreaker is the total points in the final game, closest without going over. Price is right rules.
Okay.
Officially. So that really limits the ties. If there still is a tie,
Coin flip, right? Just like college football.
Oh, okay.
We got to have the last one's a coin flip.
I like that.
Live
a coin
on
flip.
the air. Yeah.
Settle it with some arm wrestling. Couple news items real quick up top. Then we're going to be joined by our guests talking Thursday night props.
Do you remember that Skittles commercial? We'll settle it the usual way, and it's like a whole town full of people with giant arms because they arm wrestle.
No,
to settle disputes.
I don't remember that.
Oh my god, so great. Maybe I'll find it while you're talking.
We'll have to put that find that back. No, I feel like we have to, Ryan. If we're talking National Football League, we have to talk about the big news. Just before we went live, of course, Michael Penix has been named the starter instead of
Kirk Cousins hurt, right?
No.
Just bad.
Yeah, he's horrible.
So, all right, let me ask you
that
this.
was my take on fading the Falcons. Everyone made fun of the Falcons. They're like, why would you draft Michael Penix and sign Kirk Cousins? They're like, no, don't. We know what we're doing. We got a plan. I have so many, and I forgot to bookmark these. Maybe I'll go back and look at the. People were so angry at me for. I go, it's dumb not to play Michael Penix in preseason. Like, what are you talking about? They were so mad that I said that you should play Michael Penix in preseason.
I have a Michael.
They have a plan. Kirk Cousins is going to be the starter for 2 years, and now they're completely screwed. This is. In some ways, worse than the Russell Wilson deal. I don't know. This is it's hilarious.
I have a Michael Penix Rookie of the Year ticket that we didn't get to see him early enough. I have a Falcons most losses in the NFL ticket that again feels like I got us on the right side of that one.
I heard a stat. He had 11 completions. I mean, I watched the game. I know he was sucking, but I didn't realize it was 11 completions bad.
So it's another controversial topic right now. So let's get ahead of it. Sure. Will Kirk Cousins be eligible for comeback player of the year next year?
No, he will not be eligible.
Very likable. Very likable.
No, No, he's not doing it.
Could be on a new team with a small contract.
No way is he available for comeback player of the year.
I agree with you, by the way.
And it will be funny when Sam Darnold wins, because I do think the voters are going to ignore the whole injury aspect of it.
What's he coming back from? Sucking?
Yeah.
God damn it! I was so close to this one. I was so fucking close.
I mean, Ryan, who do you think wins comeback player of the year now?
I mean, who else is eligible? It's like Joe. All right. So the guys, the chalk from the beginning of the year was like Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson.
Nick Chubb also now done for the season. He re-injured his foot.
Daniel Jones was on that list. I remember. He's no longer gonna. I know Joe Burrow on the list. He kind of missed some time last year.
Yeah. It'll be crazy to see what
that would be one of the most insulting. Imagine how pissed Joe Burrow would be. They presented him with comeback player of the year award.
Well, and then maybe he's going to have his house broken into again. Yeah. So, Joe Burrow is the odds on favorite at -700, Ryan. I guess he did miss some time there.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins,
but that doesn't feel like he should be.
J.K. Dobbins is 11-1. Tim Patrick 18-1.
Tim Patrick has and J.K. Dobbins have much better claims to an actual comeback player of the year award.
DeMar Hamlin's in the mix.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no.
Did he die last year too?
The odds are hilarious for this award. I'm so glad I didn't.
They're just gonna crowbar. We should take a piece of DeMar Hamlin. There were little makeup call action. DeMar did a great job coming back a year after dying.
Shout out to Justin Steele, Cubs legend in the chat, pointing out the NFL is wild. Yeah, no, I mean, especially that award market. So glad I did not mess with it. But yeah, I mean, according to the FanDuel odds, it's Joe Burrow's award to lose right now.
We pass on that. We're not betting that crazy sorcery.
It really, I'm down for some crazy bets, but the comeback player of the year, once DeMar Hamlin, the guy who died, came back from death and played football. Once he didn't get it, I go, you can have your Fakakcha award. I want nothing to do with it. That's
white privilege right there. Joe Flacco winning that award over DeMar Hamlin.
All right. Let's talk some Thursday night props. Joining us on the line, San Diego's own Chargers super fan. You love him, you know him. Justin Decker. What's happening, Decker?
What's up, guys? Merry Christmas. The horses are ready for battle, but victory comes from the Lord. Good to see you guys.
I forgot that was only a couple weeks ago. That feels so long ago when Jameis was interviewed and the snow game, and we all fell back in love with Jameis. Then he gave us another. Jameis is like any crazy. If you've ever dated a crazy woman, it's the Jameis Winston experience, right? The incredible highs of like, man, the snow game coming back. Oh, this is great. It's gonna work out. Then there's the Denver game. We're like, man, we can do anything. Okay, there were a couple mistakes, but we'll figure it out. And then a couple weeks later, rock bottom.
Good Jameis.
They're gone.
Good Jameis is the sex. Bad Jameis is the rest of life.
Is the relationship? Yeah. That Thursday night game was like drunk in Vegas, tapping the time of your life.
Okay, both spots, cool. Yeah, keeper.
Decker, we'll hop in, talk some props here. Before we do though, how you feeling about the Chargers season? To me, it's exceeding expectations, although lost a couple games in a row here. I know you're all in on Harbaugh because I sit next to you watching football at God's Eye, and you're just so fired up every time Harbaugh's on the screen.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see. I couldn't be happier with the way the season's gone. You know, their defense is still number one in scoring defense, along with the Eagles and the Broncos.
Yes.
And it's not a fluke. At first, you could say they had an easy schedule, but it's not a fluke anymore. There's no more buys. Every team has played the same amount of games. And this is a team that got punched in the mouth last week. Hopefully that's just a fluke, because I think it's a matchup makes fights things. I think we know that the Chargers are undersized on defense still. And they were just punched in the mouth by an offensive line. You could see from the start that that's what the Bucs had. But despite that, the Chargers are fast and good, and I'm still hopeful, man. If they could have won in Arizona and won one of those KC games, they're still playing well. I couldn't be happier, but it's 8-6. It's tough.
That Arizona game is really the one that got away, especially when we see what this Cardinals team has turned into. And of course, Jalen Reagor deserves all the blame for that one, fumbling on the 1 yard line. That really swung that game. I'm still pissed off about that. I'm pissed
only
off for
field
you,
goals in
Decker.
that game, but they were that was the one game that got away.
Now, what are your thoughts on the injury report? Chargers are kind of banged up. Will Dissly, I'm guessing, not going to play again.
I think so.
Maybe it seems like he's still dealing with that concussion. And then the secondary, which struggled with Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan. Where are you at with the secondary? How healthy is the secondary? And then Herbert himself, who seemingly re-aggravated that ankle thing. He's been playing through it. Obviously I think he goes, but to what percent is he going to be effective? So what's your take on the injuries, Decker?
Yeah, the injuries are tough, but I think it's just mostly Dobbins, and Hayden Hurst may come back. He's been out for a while, but they don't have chemistry. He only has 7 catches. Dobbins is the big one because since he went out, like the longest run we have is like 12 yards from a running back.
Yeah.
But Herbert still has the longest run since Dobbins went out. And that's
a crazy stat.
Yeah. But Cam Hart may be out, and he would be the guy to match up against Cortland Sutton. He had a concussion, and it's a short week, so I don't know if he's going to be back. That's kind of my main concern. Fulton had a bad game last week against Mike Evans, so Cortland Sutton could have a big game no matter what. Cortland Sutton has a big game against anytime they play the Chargers. So that's
all right, let's just start there because he's one of my props. Cortland Sutton over 63.5 receiving yards. To your point, he's done well historically against the Chargers. 6-1 to the over the last 7 games. Last game he only had and the one he didn't have was last week, and Bo Nix was a complete disaster, throwing the 3 picks. He only had 32 receiving yards. I still don't know how he covered with that Broncos. That game was insane. Jonathan Taylor dropping the ball on the half-yard line. Also fun nugget as we're playing props these last few weeks, the incentive stuff comes up. Cortland Sutton needs 187 receiving yards for a cool $500,000. So I don't know if that's gonna up his chances here a little bit more, but I will definitely take Cortland Sutton over 63.5 receiving yards.
That's about what it is to get over 187 is 63.
Yeah, you need 63.5 these last 3 games.
Oh yeah, I'm playing the anytime. I mean,
okay. What's his anytime?
I was a little worried that this game is going to be. We watched a game last week where, if you squinted, you may have seen 2 coaches like with some sort of weird gentleman's agreement in a rainy, sloppy Thursday night game that no one did anything. Literally nothing happened. Now I'm not suggesting
division game.
I'm not suggesting that happens here, but Denver does have a basic playoff game the following week against Cincinnati. No matter what happens in the Chargers game, if Denver wins the game in Cincinnati, that's it. They've clinched a playoff.
But I still think I don't know. I think Chargers will be up, or I think Broncos will be up for
I'm
this
not
game.
suggesting they won't be competitive. What I'm suggesting is I think definitely the Broncos will have a more conservative game plan. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers in their health state also have a relatively conservative game plan.
Yeah, I mean,
and so I was a little worried about the counting stats, and I figured I'd play the touchdown at +175. He would be the top target, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that's a good price too. Decker, what are you doing here? What's your favorite prop?
Well, my favorite prop is
or your first prop.
This is Bo Nix rushing yards.
Yes.
He had his second biggest game against the Chargers the first time. And if you look at the way that this works is it's not a good matchup for Bo Nix because it's a fast secondary. He only averages, like 6.5 yards per throw. And he had 65 rushing yards that game. And you look at Mack and Bosa coming from the outside, that's their strength. And so he had success running up the middle. And against the fast secondary, I think they're going to just keep going to that because he did really well against the Chargers the first time. So Bo Nix, it's only 19.5.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, that could take him like three attempts.
Yes, I'm also playing Bo Nix over 19.5 rushing yards, and our buddies over at Rhythm sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. They hook you up with props, picks. You can build your own model. You get the 7-day free trial. As Decker noted, Rhythm also likes this one. 6 for 61 last time he played the Chargers, and I do think this is I'm seeing this as a get up spot for the Broncos in that they lost to the Chargers at home. I think I like Sean Payton in a revenging game to get up. I also like Jim Harbaugh to get up for, backs against the wall playoff scenario. Anytime there's like an amped up, prime time, lot on the stakes division game, that's when we see quarterbacks run. Quarterbacks run in big time spots.
This is a bigger game for the Chargers. The Chargers, I mean, think about it. If they lose this game, looking at the rest of their schedule, New England and Las Vegas, right? 2 games they should win. If they lose this game, they're going to be playing Baltimore, in Pittsburgh or Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, they're going to have to go to Buffalo and then Kansas City to make the Super Bowl versus playing the Texans. This is a big game.
The Texans are the sweet spot. If you're in the AFC, you want to play. And I see Moonoff, friend of the program, in the chat.
Broncos could be playing the Chiefs without Mahomes in the last game.
This is going to get wild here.
Mahomes is trending to play the next game. His ankle injury isn't as bad as they thought. And if they're resting players on the last day of the week, like this is a bigger game for the Chargers. And they match up well with this team.
What's great about that too is if that scenario plays out that you're talking about, where Mahomes is not playing, like Mahomes go hard, they win the next 2 games, they rest the last game, and that's the game that Cincy needs Denver to lose to have a chance to get in the playoffs. So Mahomes is screwing over Joe Burrow and the Bengals again by bending over for him. Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Chargers go 3-0. They can get that opportunity to go to Houston. There's very winnable games. I'm with Decker. I think from a motivation edge, the Chargers will have that, because if the Chargers lose, then they're skating, because then there's tightness. They lose another one. The Bengals are right there staring at their ass. I do think this is more of a must-win game for the Chargers, Sean. I know you're a Broncos guy, but I do think
we'll see where I end up, because I think right now I can make a decent case for both, especially. So this could be a 21-20 game. Yeah, this feels like a game where 3 points might matter. All right, Kramer, what do you got for your next prop, Kramer?
All right. We've been talking about the injury status. Herbert is completely destroyed, but tough guy. Harbaugh's not going to get in the way of Herbert playing. His last week, his passing yards number was 246.5. He only had 195. The week before that, 227. He was 213. The week before that, 247. He was 147. The week before that, he was 260. It was 218. So what's the trend here? He has not been accumulating a lot of passing yards. And what's the number for this game? It's 227.5 again.
Yeah.
You can even find a 230 if you have access to Bet Rivers. I don't quite understand it. His weapons are banged up. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if this was a bit of a conservative approach by both teams. I mean, we watched the game last week with 195 in an effort where you're getting your ass kicked. I mean, this is going to be a tough number to get to. And in a game, I think the clock may continue to run along a lot in this one. Herbert under 227.5 passing.
Yeah,
yards.
no, I think there's something to the idea where a division team plays the team for the second time. I would say historically probably good to the under, right?
I'll dig. You know what? That's a good homework assignment. Basically,
work up that
what we're basically saying is late season Thursday night divisional games, which they
even
often
the
will
Thursday.
be.
Yeah,
short week divisional games late in the season where it's a rematch. I would imagine they're all relative, like they're 100% they're lower scoring.
Well,
this game is trending to the under in every direction. Any way I've looked at it, because the Chargers, I mean, look at their turnovers. These are the two of the best scoring defenses. The Chargers have only turned the ball over 5 times all season, and they run
That's
clock.
crazy.
They don't have their best running back. Bo Nix only averages 6.5 yards a throw, and this defense is not a good matchup for him. I mean, we're talking about the Chargers have none of their weapons in the red zone. This game's going to be close no matter what. All signs in no matter what scenario point to the under.
Yeah, no, I mean, not a totals guy, but it does feel like, or maybe even you play some of the kicking props, some field goal stuff. But all right, Decker, what's another prop you got for us?
So yeah, I'll just go off what Kramer said about the under with the passing yards. I mean, I think what's interesting about his passing. It's exactly the line is set. It is exactly what Herbert went for in the first game. I have a line where it's 21 completions. Herbert went 21 for 33 in the first game with J.K. Dobbins. I like over completions. Now, I don't know about passing yards. That line seems right. I would say it could go under, but I like over completions at 21 for Herbert. Gus Edwards isn't going to get a lot. He's going to go to the intermediate. He's got Stone Smart. He's got his tight ends back, but Ladd McConkey didn't have a matchup against Champ Bailey the first time because Champ Bailey had a concussion. So we could be getting a lot of Patrick. I'm sorry.
Classic old guy.
I'm
With a
thinking
Champ
great,
Bailey reference.
I like that, Decker.
Well, so Decker,
Kind of shows ball too.
Yeah,
at the same time.
Well, it's like an old guy / like I know what I'm talking about. Fumble there. So Decker, I was gonna play Ladd McConkey over 5.5 receptions. Is that crazy? I feel like this offense just sets up for him to get. All right, because
that could happen. I mean, yeah, I would stay away from the touchdowns because he doesn't get red zone looks. He has, I think, 5 or 6 touchdowns, but they've all been kind of improvs, except for the last game. They've all been like broken plays or the one where Ladd McConkey broke a long one. But where I want to go, not to get ahead of you with my next prop, is Quentin Johnston. Johnston, 8 touchdowns and only like 30-something receptions. Like every 1 in 4 catches.
He does have a crazy high volume.
And he's been getting all of the red zone.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, he's confident in the red zone. Justin Herbert likes the big guys, and he likes the routes that he runs in the red zone. And he's been getting a lot of targets, and there's not much else to look for. I mean, you could go Gus Edwards is the only rushing option, but that would only be on the goal line. But anything from the 12-yard line in is going to be Quentin Johnston, and his line is only plus 250 for anytime touchdown. So I would go an anytime touchdown with Johnston.
So Decker likes the QJ anytime touchdown at plus 250.
It's a nice number.
I got the Ladd McConkey over 5.5 receptions. Kramer, do you got one more prop for us?
I do. So earlier when you guys were talking about Bo Nix rushing yards,
yes,
I sat here quiet, let you guys discuss it, have your moment in the sun. I didn't want to ruin it for you because I was gonna get this into my DGen, but it turns out you can't tie this to other stuff. Bo Nix to have 5 rushing yards in each quarter.
Oh, really?
19-1.
19-1.
Wow. I like that. I never even thought of that bet before.
You blew Decker's mind.
You just came up with something I've never even thought of. I like it. I really like it.
Yeah, that's a FanDuel and DK have this type of prop. Actually, I would assume most places. This is like the basic game special menu in most books. So now just figured we get things started with a 19-1 banger.
And I'll tell you this: after teams are going to look at what the Buccaneers did to the Chargers last week. And it was kind of just bullying on the inside, kind of pushing Mac and Bosa to the outside, and then just bully ball up the middle. That could open up a lot of lanes rushing. So I really like that. Yeah.
Checking in on the chat, St. Luke saying Herbert under a half INTs. He's 11 weeks straight, no interceptions. He actually threw one last week, right, Decker?
Yeah, I think he was like 5th all time in longest streak of no interceptions behind Tom Brady twice, Aaron Rodgers. In that year, we had like 33 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I said something crazy to Kramer, I think 2 weeks ago, where I was like, put a long shot on Justin Herbert MVP. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen now. But I mean, in an alternate universe where they had a slight chance to win the division, and like say he could have ended up with like 22 touchdowns and only 1 interception, but 2 in week 15, that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
It's insane. And
it's
yes,
only 2 quarterbacks have done that. So I mean, I would take that.
I Absolutely. Do like Herbert. Yeah, I do like Herbert under a half interception. I do think he bounces back, doesn't throw. And I guess I was slightly worried about the ankle injury. Maybe that impacts him. Reek saying, Sean, you're not on the Bo Nix pass completions this week, 22.5. I think he gets there. Yeah, I would take the over, but I kind of like the yardage stuff for Sutton. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know how efficient either offense is going to be. I just think Sutton gets his, to Decker's point, like it's a good matchup for him. But maybe Kramer's right. Maybe the counting stuff isn't the way to go, and you take the anytime. I think he gets there with the anytime and the yards. Maybe a fun same game parlay. And what else we got in here? We got someone mentioning Amir Abdullah did hit the first touchdown, couldn't get the second one. Oh man, that would have been awesome last night.
There was if you watch
when he was in the game, he was like the only thing working for that Raiders offense.
And one of the last plays, he there were going to be opportunities for him if they could just get down the field.
Yeah, hopefully someone and I saw some people play the anytime. The anytime was 10-1. So yeah, obviously I like the anytime if you like the 2 touchdowns, but officially that 95-1 was a fun sweat. And that horrible, I mean, we're benching Kirk Cousins now, and that you give him that bullshit roughing the passer call. That was horrible last night. Very annoying. Very annoying.
A lot of annoying stuff.
All right. We're going to talk some first touchdowns, maybe some ladder bets, a Degen only prop. We got it all. And if you're looking to get down on that kind of stuff, head over to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code SGPN. That's right. Get a 100% match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions do apply. You get the easy, fast withdrawal using that sweet cryptocurrency. The prop builder is super fun there over at mybookie.ag. Bunch of fun opportunities, some same game stuff you can put in there. Again, terms and conditions apply on the match, so make sure you read the fine print on it. But yeah, they very good live betting market. It just honestly one of the best menus available online today. Mybookie.ag. Use that promo code SGPN, and we're also brought to you by Rebet. Get your 100% deposit match up to $100 when you download Rebet. Rebet available in 45 states. Use that promo code SGPN. Very easy to use, and like I said, available in 45 states. So if you're thinking, "Oh man, I can't get down, love some sports book action," you're probably in those 45 states. Download Rebet in your app store. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100 when you use the promo code SGPN. Kramer, we'll start with you. What are you doing in the first touchdown market?
Yeah. So Broncos side not having fun at all. Courtland Sutton 10-1, Bo Nix 16-1.
Yeah.
On the Chargers side having more fun.
Okay.
We're playing Vidal for the running back.
Ooh.
Broncos have been bad against the pass catching running back, and it seems like maybe there's a chance that could be his job versus Gus Edwards. And then Tucker Fisk 55-1.
Whoa.
I fell down a deep rabbit hole of people very upset that Tucker Fisk is receiving targets when they believed it should be DJ Chark or some other player not named Tucker Fisk. So yeah, 55-1. I noticed he was getting some looks last week, and yeah, that's the handicap there.
Decker, what are you doing? What do you like here?
I like Courtland Sutton, and just because he always has a big game versus the Chargers, and I like his number. On the Chargers side, it's really tough to sell. I like Kramer reminded me of Vidal. His first touch in the NFL was a catching touchdown versus the Broncos. That was his first ever touch. So yeah, I mean they have no one to catch the ball out of the backfield. It's not Gus Edwards, and so it's tough for the Chargers because if it's going to be a run, it's going to be Gus Edwards. Like if they get in the 3-yard line, it's just going to be Gus. It's not going to be Herbert with his ankle. It's not going to be Vidal. It's not going to be Haskins, which he was getting goal line carries for like 3 games.
You were getting us on the Haskins angle, Decker, and then he fell apart. I don't know what happened.
Oh, dude, yeah, I think he fumbled once, but that is done. So it's literally only Gus Edwards. And then Stone Smart, I like Stone Smart. I like his emergence, but at the goal line, he's been with this organization 3 years. A lot of people don't know that, and everybody loves him, but he only has 1 touchdown in 3 years. So I still love Quentin Johnston, but I'm going with Courtland Sutton only because of my gut. He always has a big game. And this guy,
I like Decker.
He can beat the Chargers corners. Yeah.
Yeah. So prices again: Sutton 10-1, Vidal. The number is 16-1. If you're looking, and like I mentioned, Bo Nix 16-1. Fisk
hooked on Bo Nix.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Saying both defenses are live for first touchdown.
That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt. Hooked on Bo Nix. It's a fishing rod with a hook and oh wow.
Oh yeah, Penix. We'll get to Penix. I mean, making his debut against Kramer's Giants.
Big year for the X in the last name.
Decker, what do you think of a guy making his first start, a rookie quarterback making his first start, and he's an 8.5 point favorite? I've tried to find a bigger favorite for a rookie making his first start, and I can't find it.
Oh my God, that's only 5.
We're witnessing history.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I'd go Giants on that one, but what a move. I mean, with a team that has the tiebreaker against the Bucks, if they can somehow win out, I mean, that's crazy. I've never seen a scenario like this where a team is like vying for a division and then made a quarterback change. If you
they're one game, fuck it. They're 1 game back from the playoffs, and they're benching the quarterback they paid $50 million for.
I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah,
this broke like an hour and a half ago. This is crazy. I have no idea. It's going to be fun though. I mean, they should be flexed into some primetime game.
Oh yeah. Well, they're probably going to be that like, what is it? The weird, although super wild card. Well, I don't think they're making the playoffs. Is where I'm at, but who knows? I think Bucks end up getting it, but who knows? I mean, it's only 1 game. And maybe, and certainly a left-handed rookie quarterback that has some wheels. Teams not knowing how to play him these next 3 games. You could see him going on a little bit of a run here.
Yeah,
but that's the thing, though. Like he's like, I think people are going to be surprised at how not mobile he is.
Yeah. All right.
And I think hopefully he can throw the ball well. He's an old guy. That was the whole idea, right? He operated an offense at a high level.
Well, I mean, that's why
with a lot of top level NFL receivers and a great offensive line that had lots of continuity. I'm sure nothing
doesn't matter how good you are. Your first 3 games, he has 3 games. Look at any rookie quarterback's first 3 games. Peyton Manning, even Joe Burrow in his first 3 games.
Well, and to your point, Ryan. To your point, he played 6 years in college, only 13 rushing touchdowns. So
I don't know where this. I mean, obviously he's black, so that's probably where people are coming up with the idea that he's
a mobile quarterback.
But he's like Bo Nix is more by a wide margin. But Michael Penix might be the least mobile quarterback of the crop.
Have you ever noticed that every left-handed quarterback can run? Like except for maybe
Steve Young. You're right. Tua is like the only left-handed statue.
Mark Brunell. He
was secretly a non-lawn chair.
Oh wow.
For first touchdowns, I will take the aforementioned Bo Nix. I will, even though Decker's a little worried about Stone Smart. Broncos aren't great against the tight end, so I think somewhere in the red zone he gets his shot. 16-1, I'll take it. And then this is crazy on the other side. Now the price is super high for a reason, but, and I'm kicking myself for not playing him last week because the Colts are so bad against the tight end, but Nate Adkins has had 3 receiving touchdowns this season, and he's 90-1. I'm sorry, there's no model that you can tell me where if you have 3 touchdowns going into week 15, you're 90-1 for first touchdown. Now the Chargers have only allowed 1 touchdown to the tight end, but 90-1. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I looked at
Henley's been good, Dan Henley, and also Derwin James matched up against Kelsey 11 times in coverage and allowed no attempts. Blanketed him the whole time. So,
but also it's not like Nate Adkins is a volume guy. It's just
not a guy who would be blanketed by.
Here's his 1 catch on 1 target, 15 yards, 1 touchdown. 1 catch, 1 target, 16 yards, no touchdowns, 0 catches. 1 catch, 1 target, 12 yards, 1 touchdown. 0-0. 1 catch, 1 target, 3 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, come on, that guy's 90-1. We're crazy not for putting a nice sprinkle on Nate Adkins to get it done here. Kramer, what are we doing next? What do you want to do? You want to do a DGen bet? Where are we going?
We want to build a entry for Underdog.
Oh yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN, get you in over there. Very fun for the pick'em, higher, lower, and of course deposit match up to $1,000 of bonus cash when you use the promo code SGPN. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Oh, and tipping wheelchairs, check it in. The hefty lefty Jared Lorenzen could really take off. I think Kenny Stabler. Well, there's a bunch of good lefty. Oh, Michael Vick, obviously.
I remember the preseason when Brandon Jacobs was a backup and Jared Lorenzen was on the team, and they just kept talking about this like 500-pound backfield. Couldn't help themselves.
Oh, it was a great time. R.I.P. Jared Lorenzen seemed like a good guy. Kramer, what do you got here? So, Decker, we're gonna put an Underdog pick'em entry here, higher, lower, similar to the numbers end up being similar to what you might see on a prop screen.
It's very interesting,
but they're fantasy projections. They're not props.
Totally different.
Completely different.
Unrelated.
So Kramer, let's put together a 3 entry Underdog slip. What's the first one you like?
Well, we talked heavily about Courtland Sutton. Do we just want to go pop open his numbers and see which one we like the most?
The fact that Decker is
it a fantasy points play?
The fact that Decker likes Courtland Sutton overs and likes Courtland Sutton to score a touchdown makes me certainly like Courtland Sutton. So I think it's just, how do we want to play it? Do we want to play the receiving yards? Do we want to play the higher touchdown? I mean, you could even do first quarter receptions at 1.5 if you want to get real DGen.
What is the fantasy points number?
Now, fantasy points is 11.5.
To me, that's where we think he's going to score. We think he's going to get involved. We'll get the 0.5 point PPR. We scoop everything this way. That's a very low. If we think he's scoring a touchdown, 5 points. What's that? 3 catches for 40 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if we think he's scoring a touchdown, then why not just take the spicy 1.35x?
Because that's not spicy enough.
Okay.
It's not enough spice.
All right. Well, I do like fantasy points.
Scoop everything. Maybe he has 10 catches for 80 yards.
Yeah. You don't want to get boned. It gives you the widest net to get home if you think a guy's going to have a good game. So Decker,
like a wide net.
Yeah. Cast the wide net. Yeah. What do you like in this Thursday night football match for Underdog Fantasy? Similar to what you might see if you're on a sports book. Now these are fantasy projection numbers, but what do you want to toss in here for our group entry?
So yeah, just to get back to Courtland Sutton, for the people listening or watching, if think about your favorite team and think about someone in your division who you hate the most and who always kills your team, it's Courtland Sutton. And like for a Chargers fan, it's Courtland Sutton and Travis Kelce for the last 6 years. So Courtland Sutton is going to get above that 11.5. It doesn't matter if it's 4 catches, 80 yards, or 3 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Like he's just one of those guys who just gets it done, you know. And as far as projections, are we talking about just like
Yeah, let's just say a stat projection, kind of like how you find your way into looking at a.
They're all the numbers are similar to what you would see for props, Decker. So
yeah, what other angles
we
do you
just
like?
can't call them props.
Yeah, we have to call them fantasy projections.
So what do you like? I mean, you could use the props angle again, or maybe there was something you didn't get to that you think would be fun to toss in here.
Lad McConkey catches.
Okay. Lad
Herbert,
McConkey higher.
I already mentioned the over for attempts, and completions for Herbert. Kamani Vidal over catches.
Ooh.
I mean, it's got to be 1.5. It has to be.
I always like a small projection over. So Kamani Vidal, they don't have his catch prop up.
Everybody's talking about Stone. The Chargers locker room has been buzzing about Stone Smart and how Herbert loves these tall receivers. And Sean, we were watching the game yesterday where he went up 11 feet in the air. He used to be a basketball player.
Wide frame.
And I thought it was an overthrow. You remember that? And he went up and got it.
That was a great.
Everybody's been
snag.
talking about Stone Smart. They really love him. And they're going to use him a lot. So I would go over catches. I mean, he's got 4 and then 5 in the last 2 games.
So Stone Smart higher 3.5 receptions. That feels like a good place to get back to.
So those are my 3 for the Chargers that I can think of.
All right. And then I think we go Bo Nix rushing yards, 19.5.
Well, yeah, you said it, not me.
Well, and Ryan has his crazy 19-1. So officially we are on Bo Nix higher rushing yards, 19.5. Stone Smart higher 3.5 receptions, and Courtland Sutton higher 11.5 fantasy points. So firing that over on Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. Decker, do you have a Degen Parlay, either something long, something weird?
I'm a degenerate.
That you can give out to the audience?
I have something very weird, and I predicted this game to be like a lot of short passes, few turnovers by the Chargers. I already said every sign is pointing to the under. I think this is going to be like a 2017 game either way. I'm thinking the Chargers, because the first game was 23-0. The Chargers had a lead. It wasn't close. This one's going to be closer, but I have a crazy one where Bo Nix and Justin Herbert combined for over 500 passing yards.
Whoa.
And it's still way under.
Ooh, okay.
But I'm saying combined. That's listed as plus 200, plus 190.
Okay.
I can very much see that happening with just running clock, chunk yards, field goals. That's a weird one that I do like. And I could see happening.
Yeah. So maybe Kramer, maybe we can put let's see if we can find an alternate total.
All right, I'm on.
So
how low? Or we just want the
how low do we
want
to go, Decker? How low can this game be total points?
How low? I mean, it could be like the Arizona game earlier this season. It's like 17-15.
What? So
Herbert had 349 yards passing in that game.
Mine has a simple.
Okay, that's how I see this game going.
Let's take Decker to the Degen shop.
Well, I've already
get his price up.
And I did some work on this because my same game, my Degen play involves an alt under as well. Decker and I are along the same lines here. And I will say that I think it's key that I think we should take the alt total at 33.5.
Wow.
I think that's the good number to have.
Okay.
Just looking at
17-13, something like that.
I think, getting him basically 34, 34.5 actually is probably the spot we should put it. So we'll go, that, because 33 and 34 have been relatively key numbers in totals lately. So by going 34.5 plus 250, we've captured both of those numbers. And so, all right, so that's step one. Then we're doing big time alts on the passing yards for both guys.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying, Decker?
Yeah, I'm saying, passing yards, Rushing yards is going to be under 100 for both teams.
All right. So passing yards for Herbert, you think 250, 300?
240 and Bo Nix 260.
All right. I can do 225 or 250 for each guy.
I mean, just do 250.
All right. We'll do 250 for each guy.
Yeah.
All right. So that right
the
there.
Broncos are going to dominate in time of possession. They're going to have almost 2 times holding on to the ball.
So Sean,
and I think they're going to lose by 3.
Sean, that's plus 7637 right there. Just alt under 34.5 with 250 for Herbert and 250 for Nix.
So 250 for Herbert, 250 for Nix.
Yeah.
And under 34.5 gets you to what?
76 to 1.
Oh my God. See, Decker, that's way better than your 2 to 1. See, we're helping you out.
We
here.
Got you, Decker.
Yeah, dude,
Kramer,
that's a fun one to root for.
Oh yeah. And you're rooting for that needle to get threaded.
Yeah, I'm looking for 3 turnovers from the Broncos, none for the Chargers. Just a weird game where the Broncos have the ball all the time.
Kramer, what do you got?
All right, so option 1, the small, we'll go small first, is that same under 34.5 with Chargers -3 with Courtland Sutton to score a touchdown. Those 3 things, Sean, 30 plus 3158, almost 31.5 to 1. Chargers -3, under 34.5. Courtland Sutton anytime touchdown. Now the first game was 40 points. So we're saying that we're going to lose only 6 points off the first matchup, which feels fair based on what we were theorizing earlier, Sean. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Now, if we want to juice it up, we go and we just swap out that Courtland Sutton 1 touchdown for Courtland Sutton 2 touchdowns. Courtland Sutton 2 touchdowns, under 34.5.
Whoa.
Chargers -3.
Okay.
3 things. 680 to 1. 680 to 1.
So the Broncos would have to.
Kidding me?
The Broncos
17 to 14 final score.
No, the Broncos would have to score 2 touchdowns, both by Courtland Sutton, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but also maybe do you compare that to Courtland Sutton first touchdown parlayed with Courtland Sutton last touchdown?
Oh.
Because
that actually might be better because then it can just be 1 touchdown.
That it can only be one, it could be just 1 touchdown.
Does not
doesn't let you
do all that.
Some which one are you on, Ryan? The blue book or the green book?
The blue book.
Okay. Because I swear I've seen some.
Now I brought an alternate version to juice it up, which is
great.
You know I'm a degenerate.
Which is purely just to take Courtland. So again, Courtland Sutton's going to have a game. Decker telling us Courtland Sutton's going to have a game.
Always.
So we throw him in to have 100 yards. That allows you to juice it up to 135 to 1.
Really?
1 touchdown, under 34.5. Chargers -3. Sutton 100 yards. Plus 13444. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take my normal budget
Decker.
and I'm going to break it across these 3. Although I take that back. 1 full unit on the first one that I brought up, which is under 34.5. Chargers -3. Courtland Sutton touchdown. That is reasonable. There's no one on this planet that can look at me and say that's a crazy bet, and it pays 32 to 1. Again, Sutton to score touchdowns, Chargers -3, under 34.5. Does that not seem like a misprice? Does that not seem like a misprice, Sean? We our theory is that the games are going to go way under for these Thursday night divisional rematches. So we say 6 less points in the first matchup. That seems reasonable.
Yep.
Chargers -3 in a kitchen sink must-win game. Decker just told us it's a much bigger game for the Chargers.
They're going to have home field advantage. A lot of Broncos fans are not traveling because they made their holiday plans already. The ticket prices went down significantly, which means that they're selling them off Chargers fans. We could get some crowd noise from,
What happened in the Bucks game, Decker? I thought we were going to dominate crowd noise, and the Bucks fans were getting a little loud there.
Yeah, do people want to get out of Florida?
Well,
At this time of year, they don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
come on.
I don't know what happened, man. That
I
was
don't want to be
weird.
disrespectful.
I think it
to
was just
people
they
in
were
Florida.
down. They were down a lot in the second half. But,
Yeah, listen, Florida. Yeah, maybe Florida's not the place you want to be all the time.
All right, I have 2 DGen only prop bets.
Okay, that's half of what I gave out. That's nice though.
No, okay. Well, Ryan, mine are gonna hit,
Oh wow!
and maybe you can parlay both of them. You know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can parlay both of them. All right, I'll give you the first one. This was the one I was. This is the one that I originally had coming in. I did some research, and this is the one oh, you cannot be parlayed. All right.
No.
So the one I came in, it's pretty simple. Troy Franklin, 2 touchdowns, 70-1. He's a receiver that's been getting 46% of the snap share, 14 targets the last 3 games. Chargers obviously just let up 4 passing touchdowns. There's a world where Troy Franklin in a dome with his old quarterback, he breaks out, has a nice game. He's been getting the snaps. I know Marvin Mims is intriguing because they run him near the goal line and stuff like that, but I kind of have Troy Franklin. Maybe Harbaugh tries to shut down Sutton, and Troy Franklin is the guy that benefits from it. Again, long shot here at 70-1. He's a rookie. You have the upside that you don't know what Troy Franklin could do on a Thursday night matchup. The other one, which I was inspired to, talking to Decker, talking to you, being in the moment here in the podcast.
Wow, really?
Lightning struck.
A moment happened.
Ryan, I'm going to ask you a trivia question.
Right.
How many ties has there been so far in the NFL season?
0.
I'm telling you, a tie is due. If this isn't the tieiest tied game of all time, and Decker, Harbaugh would love playing for a tie. It would help them.
Had this tie 2 years ago versus the Raiders. Hello.
And what better way to get past your tie ghosts than getting the tie? A tie in this spot, you'd be 8-6-1. It would actually, I think, if you look at the playoff standings, it would almost help you as much as a win here. The Broncos would be fine playing for a tie. These Thursday night games, if there is going to be a tie, Thursday night is just dying for it.
I was saying it earlier. The chance that we get 2 coaches who understand what's going on. If we see I guarantee Harbaugh and Peyton both watched that game last week between Shanahan and McVay, and they said, "Huh, interesting."
Shout out.
And wait a second now.
Yeah.
Would the tie potentially help both of their scenarios against?
I think
Bengals?
so, right?
Oh
yes.
my god! Do we have a soccer situation here?
I think, and it's not quite as obvious, but Decker, I'm pretty sure if both teams tied, that would really screw the Bengals and randomly.
That would screw the Broncos because then the Chargers would have the tiebreaker versus the Broncos. So the Broncos are not going to want to tie. But I mean, the Chargers, given their weapons and their ability to run the clock, I mean, but it would help both teams. And the Ravens don't have an easy schedule, I don't think. I mean, I think they play the Steelers next week, right?
The Broncos clinch a playoff spot with a tie.
Oh,
I mean,
there you go. There's that angle too. Oh, there we go.
So yeah.
Wait a second.
No, and so Broncos would be 9-5-1, Chargers would be 8-6-1. To your point, the Chargers would have the tiebreaker over the Broncos, but Broncos would still have a 1-win lead.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Yeah, but do the green on the roulette wheel. Let's do it. Tie.
Yes, double green, and then it totally cooks these 6 and 8 teams, right? Because they already have 8 losses. Then it would be.
Well, that's why the Broncos clinch, and then the Chargers essentially by not getting a loss in this game.
Yes,
a tie is effectively a win to all the other teams that are chasing.
There's any
them.
time about a tie. This is like one of the few times, right?
And because the Chargers,
we don't have a tie yet.
Well, and the Chargers play no one. The chances the Chargers can get a win over the last 2 weeks against the Raiders and the Patriots is very high.
Yes.
Oh man,
Max Crosby.
Have we stumbled into something?
I'm telling you, there's the more we talked that we were doing this episode. I'll make the tie my official
Low
DGen
scoring
bet.
game. Yeah, the more we talked it through, I think you're right.
Well, that's a problem though. Tie makes me lose. We need to find a way to flip my. What's tie with under 34.5? Where do you even find tie?
I didn't. I had trouble.
17.
Yeah. If you go to
Decker with an exact score.
If you go to winning margin, there's tie in that option, depending on what book you're looking at. Shout out to Olan in the chat. It's his birthday. Shout out to you, Olan.
Wow.
He's a depressed Bears fan, and he said, "Tell me something to cheer him up about the Bears."
Sorry,
I would say this: maybe Mike Vrabel might be your head coach. Saw they were interviewing or potentially locking in on Mike Vrabel. That could be something that could swing you guys.
Love Mike.
If you're into that, I guess.
Well, I was trying to help him out, Ryan. It's his birthday. He did say ball, and he was looking for you to help out, but you ignore the chat, unlike me. I'm a man of the people, Ryan.
I got you got things to do. I got things to do. You just happen to have the chat. It's in your purview. Pandering to the people. There's nothing to be excited about for the Bears. Because Caleb Williams is the same guy he was at USC, and until you get a coach that can fix that,
I mean, Mike
you've
Vrabel
done it again. You've broken another quarterback, Chicago.
You need a hard ass like Vrabel, I think, to fix the culture and fix the quarterback.
Sean, quick question: how many wins did Justin Fields have last year?
Oh, the Justin Fields numbers being better than Caleb Williams, considering that they added Keenan Allen and Adunze for Mr. Caleb there.
I mean, come on,
Decker.
And Keenan Allen is still balling, by the way. I don't know if you saw that catch the last time and some of the catches he's made.
Do you miss him?
Still balling. Yeah, I mean, dude, if they had him this year, but at the same time, what am I going to talk shit about Harbaugh? No. So
Decker's just got that tall glass of Harbaugh Kool-Aid. It's great. I've never seen him this excited about a Chargers head coach, right?
No.
How long have we known Decker?
Every decision, every game has been just it has just been solid coaching.
No, but like Decker.
But it was like, think about who it's been.
Yeah,
it was Brandon Staley. Before that, it was Anthony Lynn.
Yeah,
I mean, whoop.
No, but I'm trying to think.
Sutton is a really good coach, by the way, for the LA teams, but that's another story.
I'm looking back at the head coaches and thinking of how long we've known Decker. So, well, Griff Smith did coach 3 games. Brandon Staley, Decker was not in on him. Anthony Lynn. Maybe there was like a brief part where you were like okay with Anthony Lynn. You were never excited.
Yeah. Still the losses in the fourth quarter just.
Mike McCoy.
Oh no. Boy.
Norv Turner, Decker.
You just could not be a head coach, man.
Yeah. Norv Turner.
By the way, Norv Turner coached the team, the only team ever in sports history that had the number 1 offense, number 1 defense, and didn't make the playoffs. 2006. How do you even do that? How does that happen?
So Norv Turner, not exciting. But your first love was Phillip Rivers.
Oh yeah.
Then you're like, I'm not going to be a Chargers fan. I'm done. And then Justin Herbert, and you're like, all right, I'm still a Chargers fan. And then
I don't think you guys don't realize maybe how close I was to becoming a Seahawks fan.
Yeah, he was dabbling.
Seahawks gear. There's a Christmas photo one year where I had Seahawks gear. But the more I heard Pete Carroll's, pregame conferences, I was like, he's a USC guy. I fucking hate how he ran up the score on UCLA. I hate this guy. I'm going to give the Chargers one more year, then Herbert.
Yeah.
And now I'm just a Chargers fan forever. Now it's too late. It's sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a Chargers.
You got some
there's
good
no going
Harbaugh
back
years.
now. I'm a Chargers fan for life now.
You almost got out, and then Harbaugh dragged you right back in, Decker.
Oh hell yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in, Decker. Great as always to catch up. Follow Decker on X. Fun follow at Justin Decker on X.
And I will be on X. I'm going to do a thing where I'm going to post a quote, and you're going to have to figure out if it's Harbaugh or Jameis Winston.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
They are
I mean,
similar.
how are you going to know the difference?
I mean the horses are ready for battle.
Can I make a prediction?
The outcome.
Jameis Winston will be the backup on the Chargers next year.
Oh, they seem like a great pairing.
I hope so.
Hey, get in on the college football playoff challenge. $1,000 up for grabs. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. Rebet in your app store, promo code SGPN. And of course, Rhythm, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And we will be talking to you tomorrow night, maybe a late kick for the NFL pick show, but stay subscribed, youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
He had Seahawks gear.
Kramer, let
I'll
it
send you the pic.
ride.